Hello and welcome to tonight's show.
Because they don't want to. Because we all get comfortable at these jobs. We get so comfortable at these jobs that we think that we're not going to go anywhere. We think that nothing's not going to happen. But eventually it will happen. Just last week, we had to let a young lady go at our job. You know, this is worse than anything that I've ever seen. Even growing up as a little kid, to a teenager, to an adult, to an older man. Life has really gotten worse. And we have all this fancy technology. We have all these fancy cars, all these fancy phones, all these fancy gadgets that do this, do that. And life just seems to be worse. It was more simpler back then. And people could afford things then. People didn't struggle as much back then to what I'm seeing now. What I'm seeing is sad. What I'm seeing is the cost of living that is really out here just hurting people, man. You know, when I'm riding in my car and I'm on my way to the gym and I'm passing the park and I see over 50 or 60 tents in the park of homeless people. That's a problem. That's a serious problem. Because you got these tenants going up on their rent, and a lot of these people that are homeless, man, they on fixed incomes. You know what I mean? They on disability. They on Social Security. They on SSI. That's not enough money to sustain living. You know, the highest check they may get is up to what, $1,400? And they'll be lucky to get $200, $300 in food stamps. If they lucky. Even if they qualify. In California, $1,400 could be too much. And they wouldn't even qualify for food stamps. And then you got rent that's $1,500 and up. Boom, that for whole $1,400 don't even cover that. And even if it was $1,300 and they only had $100 left, that still wouldn't cover it. They gotta eat. They gotta pay their electricity bill. If they got gas, they gotta pay gas bill. And that's the bare minimum. They gotta buy hygiene to wash their butts. You know what I mean? It's not even enough to buy enough food. That's barely enough. They just would be living off of top ramen noodles with no lights on and barely paying the gas bill. That's how bad it is right now. And you got all these people sitting up here fighting over who they gonna vote for. You guys need to wake up, man. This is straight a real shit show. My show is called The Shit Show, and this is what I bring you, a lot of shit. This election is the shit show. Both candidates are just basically out of their minds. It's a circus. There's no professionalism. There's no quality in what they do. No quality in what they say. And it just all sounds like politician gibberish. All these promises that they never keep. And they know that they have to go through Congress to get these things sent through. Now you had Trump say that if he's elected, he won't have taxes on overtime. Could be good for the economy. Might not be good for the economy. But I think it would be good for the economy. You got to look at it like this. You want business? You go Trump. You want crime and convictions and all kind of other laws that's made that's going times the 3-strike law like it already is, worse than it is, then you vote Kamala. Those are the only two. And you weigh your pros and your cons. That's all you do. You weigh your pros and your cons of who you want to vote for. Because times is hard. People getting laid off their jobs. Unemployment ain't even paying enough for these people to sustain their household and their living. And then they're forced to foreclose their homes. And they're forced to move out of their homes. And then some of them are forced to downgrade to apartments in cheap areas, which they can barely afford. Don't got enough savings to sustain the lifestyle or the quality of living. But if you're lucky to get another job, then you good. But a lot of people are losing it. How is California going to fix this problem? How is America going to fix this problem? How is the new president that's going to be elected next month going to solve this problem? You spending trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars on unnecessary ego wars. The money that they gave to Ukraine was insane. That money right there that they gave Ukraine could have put every last single United States of Americans out of poverty. Out of poverty. With that kind of money, the economy would boom. It would have boomed. And all you had to do was not give everybody a lump sum of money, because if you would have gave everybody a lump sum of money, people would have quit their jobs, and then the workforce would go down and stock market would crash and everything would be a catastrophe. I get that. So what you would do was, with that kind of money that they gave Ukraine, you would just give people portions, 300 a week or 500 a week or, 600 a week, something like that in that demographic, to just, slowly put it out there. It's in a special account. And it helps with the cost a living for people. That little money would boost the economy so easy. This is like the most easiest plan that America could do, but they won't do it. They don't want to do it. It's like they want to see what's happening happen. The Democratic Party dropped the ball. They dropped the ball 100%. Joe Biden was horrible. And I don't care what nobody say. Joe Biden was horrible. And then he steps aside and he throws Kamala Harris into the pot, threw her right into the fire. That poor woman looks like a deer in headlights, don't she? She can't answer questions properly. She can't really give a full plan of what she want to do if she's elected president. She's giving these vague, very boring, critique, well strategized and planned answers. She's not speaking her mind. She's not speaking her heart. And a lot of Americans can see her answers. She is showing that she's being a phony. If Kamala Harris want to win this election, she has to come out and be herself. She has to take the gloves off and be herself. You have to win over the American public. You can't always win over the American public by always discrediting your opponent. That's not the way that you should do it. The best way you should do it is you should reach out to the people. You should reach out to all the ethnicities in this country. And you should sit down with their leaders and you should hold your word and hold your promise that you're going to give all these ethnicities people the things that they need. If you can do that, you win the people over. You're not going to win the people over trying to bash Donald Trump, but at the same time, you're giving vague answers when people ask you a question. You hate Donald Trump, you already know right there, you done lost all the white people. They ain't trying to hear that rhetoric. You might get like maybe 50, but man, maybe like 50 million white people that might vote for you. But them other 200, 300 million of them, nah, they gonna go right over there to the right side with the elephant. Because it's showing that the donkey on the left side ain't nothing but a jackass. And I'm just talking. You know what I'm saying? I'm just clearing my mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at everybody just suffering. You know what I'm saying? I was always smart to scale down how I live. I don't try to live large. I don't try to live extravagant, but I am very, very comfortable. I'm very comfortable to where I know I'm not hurting. Because I've always been smart to strategize and to be very careful with my finances. You have to be these days because you never know what's going to happen today or tomorrow. But a lot of people aren't fortunate to learn financial literacy, to save and put some away for a rainy day, or to learn how to invest in the stock market, or to even open up your own business. There's a lot of things that you can do to create income, but a lot of people choose not to because they don't want to, because we all get comfortable at these jobs. We get so comfortable at these jobs that we think that we're not going to go anywhere. We think that nothing's not going to happen, but eventually it will happen. Just last week, we had to let a young lady go at our job. But at the same time, she was given a fair warning by upper management, and they told her, hey, this position is going to be closing pretty soon. I'm letting you know ahead of time, but you should start looking for another job now. And she didn't take it serious, and she just came to work every day faithfully, working hard like she always do, on time, busting her tail, handling her business. But when the time came, they let her go. And the thing that took her job was technology. She was doing payroll, and now when we clock in at work, we just clock in on our phones. It takes the picture of us. It shows the location where we're at, shows what time we clocked in and everything goes down to corporate. It bumps right into the computer, and it tallies everything up, all your time, the lunches, breaks, whatever you got going on. It tallies all of that up. Boom, automatically goes to payroll, automatically slides through the computer, automatically slides to the printer. Boom, there goes your check. Or it automatically goes to direct deposit. Just like that. Her position was gone. And companies do things like this to save money. So, by losing her, they saved $80,000. And then whoever else they let go, they save. Because they can get around those people with technology now. Because these computers and this software does so many wonderful things, it just makes a lot of people's jobs in upper management more easier. So now, they don't have to say, okay, it's payroll ready, payroll ready, payroll ready. Now the computer and the software just takes it through. But the thing is, I hope they got a backup plan if that thing crashes and it goes down. But I'm sure, I would pull out the time clock, and then I would have my guys, clock in the clock. But, just making sure that there's no glitches or nothing. And, the employee can keep up with their own hours, and it shows and it totals all the hours, the overtime, double overtime, all of that. But it's just the way of the world right now. It's just the way of the world right now. Whew. If people are not afraid, I'm telling you, man, you better be afraid. It's getting rough. It's getting rough. It used to be a person that can make $100,000 a year can get by easy. Not anymore. It's people in six figures that's just barely getting by them damn selves. Because me personally, I don't know what's gonna happen. So me personally, what I did in the beginning of the year, I just went into one of my savings accounts and I just paid all my bills off. I owe like 2.5 more years on my car. I just paid it off. Credit card bills, paid them off. And I said, I'm just going to sit tight. I'm going to watch and see what happens. I'm going to see how this economy rolls. I'm going to see what's going to happen out here. Because I wanted to make sure that I was prepared. You got to be prepared. If you don't need it, don't buy it. You know what I'm saying? If it's a want, don't buy it. If it's something that you actually need, then you get it. And I know you only live once, but man, I would rather be prepared than unprepared. You know, what if you don't have a family member to move in with? What if you don't have a girlfriend to move in with, or an auntie, or a grandmother, or any family member of that matter? What if you don't have those people to go to? What are you going to do? Are you prepared? Are you prepared? If you're not prepared, life is going to eat you alive. It's going to suck you up and spit you out and put you right there at that park in a tent with the rest of the homeless people that lost everything and couldn't afford the cost of living anymore. It's not a game out here. It's not a game nowhere. Every time you turn around in California, man, it's always some new law. Law, 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 law. Just so many laws. So many EPA laws, smog laws, tax after tax after tax after tax after tax. You get taxed so much in California, you might as well add it to your name. You get taxed on your paycheck. Then you go to the store and get taxed. You go get gas. You get taxed for that. You use your debit card. They want to charge you a 35 to a 65-cent fee. Whew. Then when does it stop? No. You put your money in a 401k plan, and if you withdraw that money too early, you get taxed. But I'm a personal investor. I invest into my own accounts, but that money that I'm investing already has been taxed. But if I take that money out early and I have to report it on my business taxes, yeah, I'm going to get double taxed. But the only thing saves me on my taxes is I have write-offs. And this is the way that you got to learn, like, the money game. When you have a business, you have a lot of assets. You have a lot of equipment, like the equipment that I'm on, that I'm using. If I buy new equipment and it shows into my business accounts that I bought those things, I get a tax write-off for those because it's proven. You have to be smart to learn how to link your business bank account into your tax account when you're doing your taxes. So it goes through your whole banking system. It sees how much money you spend, how much money you brought in, how much money you put out, and it calculates everything. If I save amount of money, and if I spend more than I save, I get all of these tax deductions and I get a return on my taxes because I spent more than I saved. And when you get those high returns, you take that money and you put that money right into your accounts. You put them in your business saving accounts, and you take some of that money and you invest it into some of your investment accounts. Put some in your IRA, and you go away. That's it. That's how these rich people get away with what they do. They get a lot of tax breaks because they spend more than what they make. So at the end of the year, they might claim that they only made like a $15 million profit, but they spent $40 million on employees, advertisement, rental properties, their trucks, trailers, drivers, maintenance, whatever, bills, whatever, supplies, vendors, all of that, right? And a lot of the things that they spent out of that $40 million, all of that stuff is a tax write-off. And they get excused for a lot amount of money because that money overshadows the profit. So they get a big kickback from the government. And then that kickback that they get from the government, they take that money and they save it. And they invest it. And they put it in other places. And that's how it goes. It goes on and on and on. And it goes on and on and on. And it trickles down every single time, every single year. You know? It's just the way of the world. It's just a simple game that a lot of people just don't know how to play. If you don't know how to play that game is going to eat you alive. It's going to tear you up in a big way, you know? But it's all good, man. We just pray that we get a good president this time. We pray that this government does the best that it can for this country to uplift all the people. I don't care what your color is. I don't care about your race. I can care less about that, man. We all God's people at the end of the day. I don't have no hate in my heart, man. I love everybody. And if you don't love everybody, man, something wrong with you. You know? I got to prepare myself to go visit an old friend of mine that passed away. His name was Buddy Knowles. I grew up with his whole family. You know? And his family was prone to having cancer. His mom, may she rest in peace, died of cancer. Dad, cancer. Sister, cancer. Him, cancer. Younger brother, the youngest brother, he ended up getting murdered. May he rest in peace. Rest in peace, Julius Knowles. And his brother, that was my good friend, still my good friend, to this day, one of my closest homeboys ever. We grew up ever since we was little young kids, babies. And our parents hung together and all of that. He has throat cancer. So we just gonna pray for Jason Knowles and just hope that Jason can get through it and hope Jason fights and hope Jason pulls through this, man, because Jason is a good dude. It's just Jason just went through so many things like everybody else. Jason took so many losses. Losses, they affect you. They just take everything out of you. You know what I'm saying? When a person that you love dies, a piece of you dies. It is, man. I done had so many deaths in my life. A lot of pieces of me died. But I just keep pushing, even if I'm just a shell of myself or the person that I used to be. But anyway, thank you for listening to me and letting me vent. Like this video, subscribe, share, comment. I do answer comments. I do talk to people. We all human. You know what I'm saying? But this is your host with the most, Big Bang, and I'm out of here. Peace.
Double down.